Hi everybody, it's Christina with Kids Crafternoon. Today we're going to be making these really cute little felt fortune cookies. They're super simple, and you don't really need a whole lot to make them, so you don't really need to have very much or know how to sew very well to make them, so they're really super easy. What you need for this project is a piece of felt, something to write your fortune on, a needle and thread, fabric scissors, and something to trace for a 3-inch circle in diameter onto a piece of felt. So this is how we're going to do this. I like to use this tape because when I measure this tape, the inside of it measures 3 inches in diameter. So that's pretty good. So something close would be just fine. And I'm not very good at drawing a perfect circle. I don't know who is, so that's why I like to have a circle to trace. So what I'm going to do is put my tape onto my felt and trace the inside to get that nice 3-inch circle. And I'm going to take my fabric shears and cut that circle out. When I'm cutting, I like to make sure that I cut right inside that pencil line because I don't want my fortune cookie to have pencil lines on the edge. So I'm going to cut right just inside of that. And good enough is good enough. So once you get your circle cut out, you're going to take that circle and you're going to fold it in half. And I like to crease it. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. That's going to show me my center point where I'm going to sew. So I'm also going to crease, give that a little crease so that when I open it back up, I have this little tiny crease right there. That shows me the middle of where I should sew. So I'm going to get my thread and needle. I like to have a double strand of thread. The thread doesn't show, so the color isn't that important. But the one thing that you do want to make sure of is that you keep your stitches pretty close together. So I'm going to make my stitches pretty tiny. Maybe put my stitches about a 1/16 of an inch together, spaced out, and I'm just doing a running stitch. And I'm going to stitch on that little center crease about 1/2 inch up. I've done them when I've made these where I've stitched a little bit further out, maybe about 5/8 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. But more than anything, you want to make sure that these stitches are pretty close together. So when I get about to my 1/2 inch, I'm actually going to come back and fill in where I don't have any thread. So I make sure this is a really nice seam line. And my fortune cookie is going to hold. So there's my 1/2 inch stitch. It's not the straightest line I ever stitched, but it's totally fine because we're going to flip it right side out and it's never going to show. So there's my 1/2 inch. I'm going to make sure that I tie this off too because I don't want my stitches to come loose. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take a scoop of where my last stitch was, and before I pull my stitch through, I'm going to go through the loop. I'm going to do that 2 more times, so a total of 3 times, just to really make sure that my stitch is anchored. Just like that. And then I'm going to trim my thread. All right, so now you're going to just flip this right side out. So you're just gonna flip it like this. And then I like to take my finger and poke these little pokey bits out on each side and round, kind of curve it so that my edges curve together like that. You want to be pretty gentle when you're doing this. You don't want to like squish it flat. So just kind of shape it with your fingers until you're happy with the shape, which I'm pretty good with that. So there's my fortune cookie. And then I just have a little scrap of paper here that I'm going to write my fortune cookie message in for somebody. Like that. Fold it up and stick it in my fortune cookie and then give it to somebody special. So that's it. There is how you make a felt fortune cookie. Pretty easy, right? Everybody stay safe and stay well. Bye.